right, and again, we will take an opening statement from Coach, and then we will go to the coach and the student athletes for questions. So, Coach, go ahead.
And we hung in there. We had our chances. I thought we played hard. I thought we competed. Fortunately, the other team came out in the second half and exposed their will on us a little bit and got after us, and we couldn't answer the bell.
Team Rivalry presents the Big Ten War of 2022.
August 2022. Nebraska sends a letter to the entire United Big Ten Nation stating that it rebuilt its army and plans on destroying everyone on its way to regional domination. In response, Northwestern stations troops on a completely different continent, and for some reason Nebraska follows them. Nebraska is defeated, and Northwestern rushes home to celebrate and is immediately obliterated by literally everyone. Afterwards, feeling emboldened, Michigan State sends its own letter of confrontation, but promptly retracts it after a humiliating defeat in Seattle. Minnesota tells Michigan State to surrender before they get invaded. Michigan State agrees if they can make it look like they tried. Minnesota obliges, but only if Michigan State agrees to give up their dignity, which they do. Penn State, intent on showing a display of strength to the Big Ten East regional powers, flies a battalion to one of the weakest SEC armies in modern history and destroys them. The impact on the Big Ten East is negligible at best. Michigan relaxes with 3 weeks of target practice. Maryland launches a sneak attack, catching Michigan by surprise. Maryland unleashes a barrage of artillery fire. Michigan digs a tunnel underneath the Maryland offense, which collapses under the weight of Maryland's preseason expectations. Iowa comes under siege from South Dakota. Instead of returning fire, Iowa uses a curious tactic of hiding until South Dakota gets too excited and starts accidentally attacking themselves. Iowa gets hit with a few shells from an artillery strike that Iowa State fired at Ohio. Iowa panics and fires all of their ammunition at Nevada and Rutgers instead. Michigan notices their lack of ammo, walks into Iowa, and punches them in the face. Illinois comes out of nowhere and nukes Wisconsin, wins a game of hide-and-seek against Iowa, and laughs maniacally as it unleashes a barrage of artillery strikes hitting Minnesota, Nebraska, and themselves. Northwestern asks everyone if they can just get along and study quantum mechanics or watch the spelling bee or something, but no one can hear them over the implosion of their entire season. Nebraska and Wisconsin abruptly fire their generals.
You're cut.
In the ensuing chaos, many nuclear rockets were viciously fired by both armies. Wisconsin landed hits against Northwestern, Purdue, and Maryland, while Nebraska's all blew up on the launch pad. Wisconsin and Rutgers both attempt invading Ohio State, but they get tired on the way, and instead they just hang out, have a few drinks, and watch Ohio State nuke all their hopes and dreams into oblivion. Ohio State invades Northwestern. Northwestern gets in a lucky shot, but Ohio State looks at them angrily. Northwestern grumbles something about dumb jocks and climbs back into their hole. Maryland's troops go out partying after defeating an invasion from Michigan State. Purdue fires a drone strike at Maryland. But Maryland's so drunk it didn't see where the strike came from, so they mistakenly fire at Indiana and Northwestern instead. Meanwhile, Michigan launches an invasion against Rutgers. Rutgers stuffs their entire playbook into a single cannon, fires it, and crosses their fingers. The hit stalls Michigan's advance for a minute. Ouch! So Rutgers continues firing, but loses control of the cannon and accidentally hit themselves repeatedly and are subsequently forced to raise a white flag and weep uncontrollably. Mutterings of "home of college football, my rear end" are overheard. Illinois attempts to invade Michigan. Michigan unleashes the Moody artillery gun, firing a single field goal strike, crippling the entire Illinois advance. Illinois sends a tear-stained letter to the United Big Ten Nation saying Michigan committed war crimes and the refs allowed them to get away with it. The United Big Ten Nation sends a letter back saying, "You mad, bro?" Michigan prepares their troops for an invasion of Ohio State. Michigan State sends a letter declaring solidarity with Ohio State because Michigan is mean and their tunnel is scary. Michigan invades Ohio State and fires 3 successful airstrikes at the Ohio State defensive positions and sends a battalion of Edwards tanks to run over the remaining defensive positions. Ohio State cries as Michigan plants a flag on Ohio State's capital and moons them. Purdue receives word that Michigan has vanquished Ohio State and decides it would be a good idea to challenge them. It ends up not being a good idea, and after the battle, Purdue's general flees to Kentucky. Michigan declares victory over the Big Ten, while Michigan State and Ohio State demand reparations.
There's a winner, there's a non-winner. Winner was football.
Came down to one play. It wasn't just the last play.